Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max, but no Sam again. Yes, he's out metal detecting. I'm sure he's going to find the Holy Grail very soon, or another watering can, whichever comes first. Anyway, we've got some cracking guests today, all the way from sunny Stafford. We've got Pete the Potter down there in the corner. Welcome, Pete. And
Afternoon.
slightly further away, over the pond, we've got two guests. One up in the north, and that's Al down in the corner, from sunny Canada. And then further down, we've got John in sunny Orlando. I'm presuming that it's sunny in both places. I'm probably well off. I'm probably well off. It's probably tipping it down with rain. Here, it's not very nice. Anyway, welcome to Al. Welcome to John. Welcome to all our guests on today's show. Right, okay. So we'll get into it because Stoke have had yet another really convincing performance against a stubborn Oxford team, usually stubborn. And I think it's our first win there for a while. What a result. And we're going to get into the breakdown of that shortly and where we are in the league, yada, yada, yada. But first, I'm going to put all my guests on the spot today because I haven't really briefed them on what we're going to talk about. Before I put them on the spot, don't forget, by the way, hit the like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. My question to my guests today is, are Stoke genuine title contenders?
Mhm.
I want you to all put your necks on the line in today's show. I know you're thinking, blimey, Max, I know it's bonfire night, but I didn't expect all these fireworks. Right, okay. Who wants to kick us off? Are Stoke this season genuine title contenders? Who's going to be brave enough to pick the ball up and run with it? I know Al's done his hockey and his rugby, so maybe he might be on. But then people are nodding their heads. Go on, raise your hands. Who wants to go
Oh,
first?
I'll go. I'll
Go on
go
then,
first.
Pete. Go on, Pete.
I'd like to say yes, but I'm a bit more of a realist, and I've watched a lot of games at Stoke over the years, and I don't think so. Um, I think we're showing that we could be playoff contenders, and I think all four of us would accept that and certainly take that right now. But you just don't know. And the thing is, I keep looking at teams like Ipswich and Sheffield United, and you think, right, they're starting to win now, and here they come, and then they have this terrible result, and then I keep on thinking, right, who's going to make that run that one team makes, and it's going to surprise everybody? Could we be that team? I don't know, but I think title contenders, no. Playoff, playoff, possibly.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Pete playing it calm. Playing it down a little bit. I'm going to skip across the pond. Do I go to the south part or the northern part first? Who's coming in first?
I
All right, I'll say
I beat you
I,
there.
I'm thinking it's like somewhere in the playoffs is really where we land this year. Like realistically, there's going to be some time where things maybe aren't going so well and we drop down the table a little bit. But at the moment, we are in that title race as right now. Yeah, this game on Saturday against Coventry is essentially, the battle for first place at the moment. So I think if we remain in that form, sure, but that's a lot of expectation. And I think at some point we're probably gonna have a dip, and that's where you might drop down into a playoff place. But yeah, I mean, I agree to the fact that there's not a clear out and out like, oh, this team is going to dominate the championship this year, like we've had in other seasons. And without, the likes of Southampton or Leicester coming down, really showing like, hey, we're going to come straight back up, there's an opening. Like if we continue in this form, there is a world in which we are in the title race. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I think more realistically, we're going to be in like fifth, sixth, like sort of, definitely are in the playoffs and deserve to be there, but, maybe have had some struggles along the way at some point.
Nice. I'm going to throw it over to Al. Al, you've heard You've heard Pete and John's view on this. I think they're both playing the cautious approach. I don't obviously begrudge them playing that cautious approach. We are Stoke fans after all. What do you think, though, mate? Do you think we're in for a title race this season? Do you think we're in a shot as title contenders from what you've seen so far?
Well, maybe.
Oh,
I'm not going to completely discount it, but I think kind of what John said, this weekend's match will be obviously not the determining factor, but it's going to, it will definitely be part of the consideration on how we do against Coventry. When you really look at it, and you look at yesterday's match against Oxford, where we brought in a couple, I'm not going to call them fringe players, but players we don't normally play. So we had Bocat, we had Inzonzi starting. Baker put 2 on the board as well. So, I mean, I think, one of the key factors to look at any team that's going to win the title in the championship is they have to have depth, right? Because the biggest concern is injuries. You start to get some of your starters going down, they're out with a knee injury or they're out with whatever. You look at Gallagher, he's been out since 1923. It's like, so I look at Stoke's depth that we have on the squad right now, and I look at how we've been performing to date. Going up against Oxford, Rowett's always got a very stubborn team to play against. We did well. Goals came from players that we don't normally see goals from. So I think, honestly, at this point, I would give us a 50-50 shot at actually taking a title, which is pretty aggressive. It's very non-committal one way or the other.
I don't mind that, mate. I guess not bad. 50-50 is the best we've had so far, I think.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, there's a lot of variables out there, but what I've seen so far, we're a third of the way through the season, right? And time goes by quickly. If we can stay relatively healthy, we have the depth in the squad should, a couple long-term or short-term injuries come up. I honestly think we have a shot at the title. I'm not going to say we're going to get it. I'm going to say, yeah, hoorah, let's get the wagons ready and have a parade. But I think Stoke has a legitimate shot, which is shocking, to be honest with you, as a supporter. I'm.
Well, what makes it shocking, I think, Al, great answer, by the way. What I think makes it so shocking this year is the state we've been in the last few seasons, doesn't it, really? I think considering where we were last season and the season before, and we were staring down the barrel of League One for much of the season, weren't we, to be honest?
Yeah.
Considering where we are now after 14 games, we're second in the league, and Stoke have the best defence in the league at present, which is nuts for me, considering what's happened. And you consider we haven't played the same defence the whole season through. Now, whether that's just tactical nous from old MR, who's come in and then said we're going to shore it up, maybe the depth that we have in that centre of the park is playing a role. I don't know, but wow, what a difference. Last night's game was fantastic. And go bring it back to Pete's view on last night's game. Anybody in that team standing out for you from last night's game, Pete, or what about it stood out for you?
I mean, the first thing I noted down today was that we looked solid, assured, and confident, and it looked like we were a team that had played together for a long time. But even the players themselves remind us in their interviews. In fact, there was a couple of interviews after the game to say we've only just getting to know each other. Imagine when we really click. How far can we go? I mean, I could name virtually every player last night in terms of their role they played. I thought Vic was fantastic at the back.
Yeah.
And he knew when to catch it and he knew when to punch it. And I think because the pitch was very wet, he knew He knew
was
what he was
hammering it.
doing. Yeah, even Mubama. I know he obviously didn't notch last night, but he kept the defenders busy, and then he sort of sucked in the defenders into the middle, and then left loads of space down the sides for our wingers and Junior, and I include Junior in that. But for me, what was our final thing was what I thought was fantastic was Junior doing the bomb down the wing, but then cutting it back for Baker to then run in. Now he didn't score first time; he obviously got it with his second touch. But Junior being bright enough not to try and do the same thing, to cut it back. So I thought Junior really impressed me again last night.
John, same question to you, mate. Obviously, you've heard what Pete had to say about last night's game. Again, same thing. Anybody that you want to talk about, particular anything in particular about last night's match that really stood out for you? I mean, it was a heck of a performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Nzonzi's his goal, that was a great goal from the corner. I mean, he's not going to be used in every game, but in a game like this where Gary Rowett's going to do, horrible Gary Rowett ball and they're going to sit back so deep, he has time and space and he is just able to play the ball, and actually be able to do the things that you love to see Nzonzi do, be that effectual playmaker who can spread the ball around and then, get in the goal as well. Everyone jumped on him. Do you see how delighted all the other players were that Nzonzi scored? You can tell that he's they revere him, right? He's this guy who's done it all. He's come back and, we love watching him. You can hear the chants from the Stoke fans, Steven and Nzonzi. It's so great to see him do well, but it's not going to be every week. He's 34 years old. I don't think he's going to start against Coventry, and people will be like, "Oh, wait, when you start him."
He's even older, isn't he? Is he
even older.
Yeah, sorry, he's even older than that. But it's not the right game to start him against Coventry, right? It's going to be a high energy game against Coventry, and I don't think that's the kind of game for him. So I think that's the beauty of, like you guys were saying, with our depth, especially in defense, we're able just to, play different guys in different games. And that's what Mark Robbins is so intelligent at. He knows, okay, well, this is how I'm going to play. And therefore this midfield or this defense or these attackers are going to suit, this game and play. So, yeah, I mean, we came right at them in that game. Really, it was so aggressive from the beginning. And they had one shot the whole game, and we just, we knew how they're going to try and play, but we played so quickly and we play so direct that they're just not able to sit in deep and do what they want to do. So it was an excellent game and well executed.
I think we played them off the park, to be quite honest with you. I know they had a chance early on, but it seemed to me we just nullified them the whole game. Al, can I go down and bring you in again? You've heard what John and Pete had to say. Would you echo what they said? Was anybody else, or do you want to mention Nzonzi again? Who was it, and what about last night's performance was so good for you? Because everyone's in agreement it was a fantastic performance. Well, what was it that stood out?
The first 3 minutes, it was squeaky bum time. We have to admit. I mean, Oxford came at us. They threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at us. Narrowly missed with their header in the first, I think it was a couple of minutes. And so we weren't very set, but once we settled, we just took the match over. That said, Oxford isn't a scoring machine. But I think honestly, my player yesterday, just for consistency through the entire match, was Ashley Phillips. I think Phillips played I mean, he's a great, I mean, what a great pairing between, him and Wilmo. But, Ashley Phillips played, for me, one of his better games of recent memory. And I always, being a goalie, I always watch what the defenders are doing because I want to yell at them. But watching Phillips yesterday, he came forward when he had the opportunity to. He worked so well with Baker. Right. That actually whole thing worked out so well. I was so impressed with Phillips yesterday. For somebody so young, he plays a very mature, responsible game. And obviously he's a paid professional, but that's, like I say, he's a very, very smart footballer and he did very well.
Do you know what's interesting, Al, about it is when Llewell got injured, everybody was really concerned, really worried. And I just had this thought in the back of my head. I just thought, could this work out well for Stoke in the long run? As silly as it seemed for him to get an injury in that kind of form, because we know how good Phillips can be. Last night was, there was one, maybe two times I think it was a bit lapse of concentration, and when he first came back in for Llewell, I think he was trying to get back up to the pace. But do you know what? We know from last season that he was, I would say, our best central defender last season, without a shadow of a doubt. And we had 3 or 4 players playing in that position, including Wilmot, who this season has been a revolution. You know, he's just all of a sudden he's become one of our best centre backs with our phrases. But when Llewell comes back, well, where does Llewell now fit into this team? Because he's not, I don't think he's far from coming back. Where does he fit? Where does he fit into this team? For me, he is so good. What Llewell is so good at is driving past 2 or 3 players.
Shrugging them off.
And you saw him do it a couple of times from right back. Can you imagine him in the centre of the park, breaking the lines without having to pass the ball?
Exactly. I mean, he's the same size as like a lorry full of rocks, right? I mean,
I think that's underselling it.
Yeah, you don't want to be in his way when he gets going forward, right? Because you're just going to bounce off him. I would love to see Lowell in a much more forward position. You know, he's very good on the ball. It's like you say, he can dribble past guys, but it's also his shooting ability. I mean, his shots are absolute rockets, right? I mean, he's a big guy. And he's very fluid, very mobile, and extremely powerful on that ball. I think, call me crazy, but I would almost put him at a number 10 role. I almost would, because he has the height, right? He can get his head on it. He doesn't look quick, right? No big, tall, like Nzonzi doesn't look quick, but he covers a lot of ground, just that long stride, right?
Yeah.
Lowell's the same. I think, I mean, like Robin says, you know, hand him a pair of gloves and he can be a keeper. He can play pretty much anywhere.
He is versatile.
From the manager. I would put him up front because that's where we've been struggling, is in that number 10 role. I'd honestly give Lowell a shot up there. Keep Phillips in the back 4. I mean, keep our back 4 as is for now. I can see that being a real changer for us.
You make a real good point there, though, Al. You bring up a really good point that I want to talk about in today's show. And how good was Bakes in that number 10 role last night? How good was Bakes? And, you know, I've been quite outspoken and receiving my own share of criticism for saying we need a number 10 who's going to really perform to the standard that we need to in order to gain that promotion. Bakes last night, one of the key things for number 10, you've got to be in the right place at the right time. He was in the right place at the right time twice last night. Pete, go on. You let us. What are your thoughts about that?
He's really good at coming into the box late. And I think the best probably I've ever seen at doing that was Frank Lampard. And I think Frank Lampard did that at Stoke once. But
he probably learned it from Frank Lampard at Chelsea because he was there at the same time.
Well, that could be it. His second goal, if you watch it again, especially from behind the goal, was fantastic. And he still had I know he missed the foot. Well, I think the defender blocked the first shot. Maybe I think it was the defender. But when Junior cut it back and he shot it, and his left foot, he passed it with pace into the corner, and it wasn't an easy thing to do. It looked easy when he first did it, but if you watch it again from the back, it was fantastic. And I think a number 10 has to take their chances when they come. And I think most of the other players in the team who could play in that role, I'm not sure they would have handled that. And I imagine somebody like Bay there at the time, who would probably just send it over the crossbar. So I think, number 10 running into the box late. I'd keep him there.
As much as I like Bay as a player, I think he's a talented lad. I think he's really good on the ball. He can move. He's got great balance.
Great touch.
He's got good touch. just don't know if I've said this from the start. I don't think that's his best position in that number 10 role. I don't think he finds himself in the right positions enough. And they were saying, I think they were saying on one of the commentary or something, saying something like, "Oh, Bay needs a goal." That's what I've heard the last few things. I'm thinking, well, Bakes has played that number 10 role really well last night, really well. And we can't keep relying on Mubama to score goals. If you're going to go up, or you're going to get into that top 2 or that top 6, whatever, your goals can't just come from your strike. Can't keep saying, "Oh, we just need a new striker because our strike's not scoring." We said this when we last got promoted. I think it was Liam Lawrence was banging in a bunch of goals for us. It wasn't all Ricardo Fuller, and I think we played 2 up top at that point as well. And with Ricardo and would have been probably Sidibe, wouldn't it? And I don't think that Sidibe bagged a ton of goals that season. So I think the goals need to come from wingers as well, those attacking wingers, which they are doing, definitely are doing. So we've seen Millian grab a goal, and we've seen Sorba getting on the act. But the number 10 role really needs to start contributing. And last night was an example of that. John, I'll throw a similar kind of thing over to you. And Al's mentioned about Luau coming in as that number 10.
Yeah.
What do you think, mate? Is it throwing up a conundrum? I'm guessing. Well, I'm guessing that he's going to play Bakes there again on the weekend as that number 10.
Nice problem, isn't it?
I actually disagree. I think Beijing Ho is going to be back in at number 10. I'm more of an advocate for him there. I think that, like I said before, there's just different players bring different things. Like, you're totally right about Bakes being a goal threat, and that's what he is. And he's like crash the box late kind of midfielder. And I think some games it's going to suit playing him, but other games it's going to suit playing Beijing Ho, who's a little bit more intricate and I think is getting his head up, look for the pass more than he is to shoot. But I also totally agree that Beijing Ho has to, add that to his game where he needs to be able to be a goal threat as well. I don't think we should kind of just this idea of like, oh, this guy's the guy to play here and this guy's the guy. I think in all the positions, because we have this depth and we're creating competition, it's a good thing. Like even Mubama, like we want Bozanic to really be pushing him to try and get in the team, to be pushing for places. My concerns in depth were like right back, and we've seen Maxi come in and play a really good game there. So it's like we talked about where Bosin could play. I think he could play it right back as well. So there's competition there where we thought maybe that was a weaker area in the squad. I really think that we've got a group of players here who are all going to push each other for those places in the squad. And that's what breeds, competition inside of the squad, breeds a healthy environment for these guys to be able to go out and perform week in, week out, because Beijing Ho's looking over his shoulder because Bakes has then now gone and put 2 goals. So I think it's about, letting these guys figure it out and playing the right ones in the right games.
I love that because you're spot on. You're spot on when it comes to competition for places. In particular, when we look at Shamadou's return following Maxi's man of the match performance, Shamadou comes back in and all of a sudden he has an absolute blinder. How much of that is down to the fact that Maxi played so well in the game before and Shamadou's thinking, oh, if I don't come in here, I'm not, if I don't come in and play an absolute blinder, is my place. Is my place up for grabs from Maxi because he's had such a good game. And we saw then, I'll mention Bocat coming back in. Bocat didn't have a bad game either last night, I don't think, at left back. I still don't think he's as good as Cresswell. I think Cresswell's been superb this season, but it must make Cresswell think a little bit, Bocat, he's not a bad player in that left back role. So I think it is a fantastic thing to have this depth. The only place that I am struggling, I'm just going to throw this one over to Al quickly, and then we'll do the rounds on this one, and we'll call it a day. But Bosnic as a striker, for me, I am concerned there that if Shamadou, not Shamadou, who am I on about? I know he's been making the goals and crossing. Mubama, if Mubama gets injured, right, and Bosnic comes in for Mubama, I feel like I don't know. I just don't think we're going to be as ruthless and have as much of a cutting edge. And that sound really harsh, but I mean, I might get slated for this, but I'm not sure if Bos will ever score a goal for Stoke City.
Yeah,
Al, what do you think?
Can't disagree on that one.
That's right. I'll begin in a minute.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, when you look at Bojnic's senior career, he's never been the guy to go out and get you, 15, 16 goals in a season. Even when he's playing at Boa Vista in Portugal, right? I mean, what did he have there? 60 some odd games and 13 goals, right? So he will get you a goal, or he'll get you a few goals, but he's not going to be, in my opinion, a Mubama type kind of guy that's going to go out and get you, 3 in a match, those kind of things. I mean, even at Feyenoord, I mean, 22 games, 3 goals. So, I mean, for me, I think Bojnik is going to struggle to get goals this year. He's not even high on the list for assists when you look at his stats. No, I'm just talking stats here. When you look at his effort, though, for me, Bojnik isn't. I mean, obviously, a striker's role is to score the goals, but Bojnik does a lot more on the pitch as well, too, right? I mean, I do rate Bojnik. He gets back and he defends well. He helps out the midfield relentlessly. I think his time will come when he'll open his account, but I personally don't know if he's going to be the guy, because he's our player. He's not alone. I don't know if he's the guy to carry us. I don't see it.
It's okay. Everyone's going to have an opinion on this. It's quite a hot topic. John, I know you want to get in on this in a minute. I'll save you till last. We've got about 5 minutes left. Pete, go on. What's your thoughts on Boz? Just quickly. By the way, can I just say, I'm not faulting his effort or anything like that. I'm just saying, I don't know if he will open his account.
I faulted he got caught offside in the match yesterday.
Yeah,
and
that
was poor. And if he'd stayed on side, he was through. And I got really frustrated with that. And hopefully Robbins will have a word with him about holding your run, or timing your run going across, and then forward instead of forward. So I think John seems to have anyone else notice that one? With about 10 minutes to go, he got caught offside. It was a lovely move. Lovely move, but anyway, we've all done it.
Go on, John. Go on. You disagree? That's cool.
I gotta have faith in Boz. I think there's a reason they spent money on him. If you look back at the history of the strikers that have worked under Mark Robbins, and there's been some pretty good ones. They've been big, physical, like guys that can do a bit of everything. They can run, they can hold up the ball, they can head the ball. Their strength, they've got enough pace about them. And I think he fits all of those things. It's just about adapting to the championship for me. And I think if you give him time, he will come good and he will be able to score goals at this level, because he has those physical assets that you need in the championship. And maybe the mental part of his game isn't the strongest. Like, he doesn't always make the best decisions. But I do think that he's going to have a chance. And like with Mubama, there was a lot of question marks of like, is he going to score goals? And then, bang, hat trick, right? So at some point, Boz is going to get his chances. And I think he will start scoring goals, and then hopefully they'll keep coming. So I'm going to back him and say that, he will score some goals for us.
Maybe in the FA Cup, maybe he will come good.
Yeah.
In the FA Cup, and that might start the ball.
Strikers just need that one. I mean, look at Devine, right? They need that one game, and now he's on a roll. So he's not getting as many minutes, but when he was getting minutes, he wasn't getting fed the ball as well as we are now giving the ball to Devine. So I think if you get him on the field and give him good quality chances, he will finish them.
That is very true, and he hasn't been getting as many minutes as Mubama. He hasn't been, therefore, getting as many opportunities to score as Mubama. He's had maybe a couple of kind of clearish chances during his matches that I've seen. As I said, I think he deserves a goal for his effort, but I don't know. What do you think, Stoke fans? Do you back the Boz? Do you back Boz? Let us know in the comments. That's nothing to do with politics, by the way. Do you back Boz? Let us know in the comments. Right, everybody. We've got a couple of minutes left, so I think we'll wrap it up now. I just want to say a huge thank you to all our guests today. Before I do the rounds and we say bye, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you would. We are looking potentially to do some live videos, Stoke fans, so you can comment on the videos as we're doing it and get your points across. But we will, we're working on it. Sam's out scanning the fields for the right technology. Right, okay, so we'll do the rounds. There's our predictions, by the way. The title of the video is obviously somewhere in there. It'll say, a Stoke title contenders. We're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we? Oh dear. Anyway, big game on Saturday. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Oh, 2-1. And
It's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from them. And we were so close to getting it. That was nearly their third, fourth time in a row. I'm glad you brought us all back down to earth, gents. So we really appreciate it. Right, okay. And we will see you all on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. Go on, Stoke.